Bam. Bam. We've got a problem today. We've got a little thing that I like to put up in the corner. I don't like to know how many people are on the stream because, I started the stream with like 0 people. And so I don't like to see how many people are on the stream. Sometimes we'll get, 5 or 10 people in the stream, and then other times, no one. And so rather than sit there and obsess the whole time about, am I getting people to watch? I just block out the number. Plus, I know this sounds weird, but I don't want to act. It's not my goal to act for you. My goal is to be real. Like, this is who I am. And that's important to me. So I don't. So there's I can see how many people are on the stream. And all I do is I take a piece of paper and I put it right at that spot. And then I don't know how many people are there. And it works fine, except for I use a sticky note. And my sticky note right now is curled. So I don't know how it's going to work tonight. It's also bigger than I usually put up. And if I go way over here, I could probably see it. But anyway, well, that's been a minute of time that you're never getting back. You're probably wondering, what have you just stumbled in on? Well, my name is John Schenk, and I am the founder and managing broker of Deerwood Realty in St. Louis, Missouri. We're a small residential real estate firm, concentrate mostly on, the counties, St. Louis City, St. Louis County, Jeffco, St. Charles County. That's where we mostly spend our time. We help buyers buy homes and sellers sell theirs. The Deerwood Realty live stream is an extension of the brokerage in the sense that since I'm the founder of the brokerage, I can talk on topics that interest me. And so I am a commentator. I do talk about things in real estate that either kind of irk me or things that I can see that might be able to be helpful for you. If you're ever looking for a home or if you're looking to sell your home, on our channel, we talk about the marketplace, pop culture. Love to talk about pop culture, and just the daily grind of being a real estate agent. It's you'd think it'd be pretty easy. A lot of people think being a real estate agent is easy. I mean, what do you do, right? Well, it's not that easy. Not to be successful, not as easy as you'd think. A lot of people think, well, here's what I would like it to. People think that they could just start a restaurant tomorrow and people would come and eat their food. And it's if that were true, then why do so many restaurants fail within the first year? If it was so easy to be a real estate agent, why are there less than 20% of the agents that started still in the business 3 years later? I'm just asking. I don't know the answers. So just bring it to you. So if real estate news, if real estate commentary, if the home buying and home selling process is interesting you, the housing market, the economy, pop culture, maybe this is something that you should subscribe to. I know I'd be thrilled to get more subscribers. Somehow I'm stuck at 98. I said something or somebody accidentally clicked that they liked that they subscribed and then they just left. I don't think it was a bot account. I don't think I'm big enough for that to be the case. Anyway, how are you this evening? It's September 2nd, 2022. Right around 8:30, 8:40 on a Friday night. It's a Friday night of Labor Day weekend. Let's talk about that for a moment. So I've told you in the past that it's probably not a good idea to list your property on the weekend of a holiday. So, I mean, any holiday, like even Mother's Day. I remember there was one Sunday, it was a Mother's Day, and I had a house listed and I was going to do an open house and I was going to miss Mother's Day with my family. And that seemed like a bad idea. So I canceled it. And it was a good thing that I did because nobody would have been there. Because even if a real estate agent says they're working, there are certain holidays where they don't typically go out. And believe it or not, Labor Day is one of them. It's not because we're celebrating Labor Day. I would go show a house in a heartbeat if I had a qualified buyer right now that wanted to go see one. But it's not that easy. You see, like people that list their homes over Labor Day weekend, they don't want to list their homes. They would prefer to list it like next week. They don't really want to be out of town while they're listing property. And so the level of listings, the quality of listings that came out this week, not that great. Something else adds to that. Buyers are on vacation. Buyers leave, like they go to the lake. Many people go to the lake. Now this kind of screws up the buyer pool. So now your listing pool screwed up and your buyer pool screwed up. And so it kind of puts you out of business for the weekend. I did what I thought was the best. I texted all of my buyers and I said, hey, you guys going to be in town this weekend, or like, are we going to go see some houses? And most of my buyers, we've been together for a long time, and they say, no, we're not going to be in town. Have a good weekend. We'll catch you next weekend. This is not a strange Labor Day weekend, but we do have a little issue where it's supposed to be cloudy and rainy all weekend, which isn't good for selling houses anyway. So I don't think I'm going to be showing any houses this weekend. Tomorrow night, I'm going to a wedding. Pretty excited about that. Sunday, nothing. Monday, we might have people over for the holiday, but I could be wrong, but I think I'll be able to stream almost every day. Maybe I won't tomorrow because I don't know. Anyway, we got tonight, right? We got tonight. So, yeah, I think my bottom line point is look, if you're getting ready to list your house, probably just wait until next weekend. If you're a buyer and you're really like, I want to buy a house this weekend, it must be this weekend, we're fine. We can certainly go look at houses that are available. I mean, that's totally fine. Just, don't expect too much in terms of like good inventory. That's where I'm at. So anyway, today, how did today go? I had an appraisal come in that was perfect, like exactly where I needed it to be. I had an odd thing happen to me. I'm going to try and explain it. Have you ever made a deal with someone and it was like a reasonable deal? Everybody agreed to it, and then they want to change the terms of the deal? How did that make you feel? Did it make you feel like receptive to their needs? Or were you just kind of like, hey, that's not cool? Had that happen today. I kind of shrugged it off, but let me just say this, it in the way it kind of goes with real estate offers, contracts, etc. Okay. Like if you agree to something, that means you kind of have to follow through. And you can't just kind of change the plans in midstream if you've already agreed to something. So if you don't feel comfortable about something, don't agree to it. Because what happens is, let's use an example from the last deal I did. I was representing a buyer. Listing agents representing the seller. We wrote an offer, 30-day close, very strong offer, and the offer was accepted. Within that 30 days, my buyer got a new job, and his first day was scheduled to be the day of closing. Now, in St. Louis, I don't know about the rest of the world. In St. Louis, you're kind of expected, for the most part, to physically be at the closing. They call them wet signatures, kind of a weird term, but they kind of prefer you be there. And so there's no like there's remote closings in the sense that like if you live in a different state, they'll mail you the documents a couple days ahead of time to sign and get notarized and then send them back. But still, most of the time they want you to be kind of in the area. And so buyer really was like, hey, can we get out of this? And it was a young fellow, and they think differently, and there's nothing wrong with that. And I'm like, if I say to the listing agent, we need to change the closing date, it's going to freak the sellers out. Number one, because they're going to think that we can't close on time. And then number two, like, it would be a concession. So if we get a date moved, then just know that down the road, they're probably not going to be willing to give another concession. So I asked the listing agent, I said, hey, can we move this closing? This doesn't make any sense. This day's not a good one for my listing agent. Got back to me and said, nope, we're not changing the date. So what did I do? Just filed it in the back of my mind. And this is kind of the way I do deals, and it seems to work. Look, I like when people are fair to me, and when they're not, I just remember it. So if there would have been something that comes up in the deal where I needed the seller, if the seller needed something from me, I would just remember what they did for me when I needed something from them. That's all. You want me to do something for you? You told me no when I asked for something, so no. That's all you can really do. That's all you can really do. So anyway, closing date's important. If you're going to make a change in your offer, that's great. But just know that if it's after an accepted contract, then you're going to be in a situation where you're asking for concessions, and they're not required to give them to you. Thought that was reasonable. Anything else? No, it's kind of rainy. Lens, I got an email that said the lens is supposed to be here tomorrow. I'm actually going to go look again because they gave me the shipping. They shipped it in a day, which was pretty impressive. So right now it's reading that was in Ohio, and it's supposed to be here by tomorrow. Oh, it's in Champaign, Illinois. There's no question. It'll be here tomorrow. It just arrived in Champaign at 8:00 tonight. So it says it's expected to be delivered between 10 and 3:00 tomorrow. It was initially expected to be Sunday, but I don't expect anything to come through on Sunday because, well, it's Sunday and it's a holiday weekend. So let me get out of that. Let me move over here. I guess we'll get into it. So well, I didn't do things right here. I need to do that. I need to do this, do this, do this, do this. Okay, good. No, that's not what I wanted. I wanted this. So let me preface this. So are you familiar with bro country? I don't know if it's like a derogatory term, but it's like this where two dudes are just singing. Florida Georgia line is bro country. They were. I haven't listened to country music in 6 years. Kind of fell off the face of the earth for me. I couldn't even tell you what I listen to right now because I don't really have anything set up. But anyway, bro country, Florida Georgia line. I had a friend who had a friend that saw them when they were in St. Louis and got to meet them. That's as close as I've ever gotten to Florida Georgia line. Apparently, they've just broken up. And The thing I remember about them really was like when I was watching the country, they were all into the weed. They're like, we're always high. Like, all right, well, that's good, I guess. If that's your angle. So let's now. If I've offended anyone by the bro country label, I apologize. I don't mean it in derogatory. I'm just kind of more of a description. Now, apparently they've gone on to produce more hits, but I haven't been around to know. But let's get into it. It says, what happened to that break? The Country Stars Florida Georgia Line just played final show. Oh, really? It says, Florida Georgia Line has reached the end of its line. That's a play on words. Very smart. Very smart. I love it. It says, Country Stars Brian Kelly and Tyler Hubbard. Quick, would you have known the names of Florida Georgia Line, the singers, without them telling you? Kind of look like the same dude. Not criticism. Understand, I'm just saying. Anyway, it says, who comprised the Grammy nominated duo played their final show together Wednesday at the Minnesota State Fair, which is kind of interesting. The Minnesota State Fair, it's September, where they thanked the crowd of 11,700 for their success in the closing of an incredible chapter. Another thing I think is interesting, 11,700, not exactly a stadium tour on the way out. It says, this is our last official concert as Florida Georgia Line, Hubbard said when he greeted the crowd. Let's see what we got left in the tank. I don't know, that doesn't make any sense. He's not driving. You've enabled us to chase this crazy dream of writing songs and playing shows and hoping somebody will show up to listen. So thank you, guys. Now, so this is kind of interesting. Like, I look at it kind of in my own perspective here. It says, you've allowed us to chase this crazy dream of writing songs. Well, you can do that without anyone being around. You can just literally write your own song. Playing shows, harder to do. Like, for instance, I'm right now doing a live stream, and I'm probably live streaming like no one. So you can still do it though. I mean, I do it every night. And then hoping someone will show up to listen. Well, I hope somebody will watch. I kind of think I think my real estate live stream is, pretty good. I've never seen another one. Oh God, that's not good. Right in the way. Okay. It's very exciting for us to look at what's ahead, see what's next. And the next chapter ahead is very exciting, but we want to celebrate this chapter with you guys. I mean, are they from Florida? Like, would they really want their last show to, I don't know. I always think that like you should take one day at a time. One day at a time. Don't look too far out ahead. Like, so I feel like they're kind of in dangerous territory here. It says it's very exciting for us to look at what's ahead. Well, maybe you should just kind of stick with the day-by-day approach. It says the Star Tribune said the good timey duo gave each other high fives and brotherly smiles during the grandstand set, but made it hard to see their goodbyes as anything more than them putting on another act. That doesn't make any sense to me. The Star Tribune says that the good timey duo gave each other high fives and brotherly smiles during the grandstand set, but no hugs. But made it hard to see their goodbyes as anything more than them putting on another act. So they were hiding that they liked each other. Like they were acting. It says representatives for the band did not immediately respond Friday to the Times request for comment. Well, that's because they stopped doing they're not the Florida Georgia Line. They said it in the top of the show there. They said Wednesday. So this is Friday. They're not a band anymore. So probably not going to respond. What's the point? It says Kelly, the Florida half of the duo, And Hubbard, the Georgia half. Okay, so that now I know one was from Florida and one was from Georgia. Well, that makes sense. Announced in February that they are taking a break from recording our music, telling people that they're not going our separate ways, but are being artists. That doesn't make much sense because I believe they're going their separate ways. They just announced it in Minnesota. I don't know what being an artist has to do with not going your separate ways or going your separate ways. Worlds apart. So a couple years back, we started writing without each other and trying different writers. And now we're both doing that with our music, Kelly said at the time. Like, hey, I'm going to go write a song, but it's not going to be with you. Don't take that the wrong way. No, that's cool, dude. Says the Partners formed the band in 2010. They released their debut single Cruise in 2012 and released 5 studio albums, amassing a handful of ACM, CMA, CMT, country music, and Billboard awards along the way, but no Grammy. In 2009, their group performance of Meant to Be was nominated for a Grammy Award. It's nice to be nominated. I always say people invite me like for parties. It's like I like to be invited. I won't go, but I would like to be invited. It says the singers, songwriters have since lost solo careers, but I mean they were going their separate ways. They were writing with other people. Kelly debuted a solo album, Sunshine of the Mind, in 2021, an American Spirit this year. So 2 albums kind of, back to back. He'll also resume the second wave of his Surf Post Sessions tour in Florida on Friday. Hubbard has recorded the single Undivided with Tim McGraw, as well as the single 5'9" from his recently released album Dancin' in the Country. Did George Jones ever put out an album titled Dancing in the Country? Rumors of a rift between the bandmates have been percolating for years, reportedly sparked by their diverging political views. While Hubbard downplayed that, he also shared that they went to therapy together. Would George Jones go to therapy with himself? I mean, it just says in 2020, the artist had a publicly documented disagreement about the presidential election. Kelly hinted at support for President Trump, while Hubbard has been critical of the former leader. Meanwhile, Hubbard and his wife Haley publicly expressed support for President Biden and Vice President Kamala Harris, and both unfollowed Kelly on Instagram because they didn't want to see his posts about the polarizing election. Let me ask you something. Is there ever an election that isn't polarizing? Like you have to choose one or the other. It's like the word polarizing and the word bipartisan. Stupid words, like as far as, politics are concerned. You use those words as weapons. So, like, is Merle Haggard, like, unfollowing his buddy, Waylon Jennings, on Instagram? You say no because they're dead, John. Well, that's a fair point. Fair point. I don't know. It makes me uncomfortable, this idea of, Instagramming and we didn't follow and now we have to talk about it. I mean, was that something they talked about in therapy? And what good was therapy? In the end of the day, they broke up. I unfollowed BK for a few days while we were in the middle of this election and everything going on. And I even called him and told him, I said, hey buddy, I love you. Yeah. And I love you a lot more in real life than on your stories right now. That's why I'm unfollowing you. Nothing personal. I still love you. You're still my brother. I just didn't want to see it every time I opened Instagram, and so it wasn't a big deal. Well, I mean, it may not have been a big deal, but you're still talking about it and or ask about it, and they made it about it. Now, I did see an article that said that they were breaking up due to politics. It seems a little bit harsh. Based on what they say, that wasn't the case. Are there other bro country acts? I mean, I don't really know. Was that, I don't know. My kid, the 13-year-old, was friends with a girl that really liked him, and I mean, she'd probably be crushed right now to learn that they're not together anymore. Or she's just forgotten about him because, like, she's 13 and they go through bands like Kleenex. I don't know what to think of this. I just, on a side note, I like Willie Nelson. Okay, I'm not. Every election period, though, Willie comes out and he's like, I'm going to vote Democrat this year. And you're like, it becomes news. It's front page news. And it's like, Willie, when's the last time you voted for a Republican? Like, ever? Like, when? What decade was that? I mean, like, it's not new. And I don't understand how every time the election goes through, it's like, oh, look at this. Now you're really in trouble because he's going to be a Democrat voter this year. I mean, that's the other thing. Does Willie even vote? Does Florida Georgia line vote? I mean, it's okay to have an opinion about a political candidate, but I mean, if you're not going to support them, like by voting, I don't know. Will these guys be fine? Well, okay. So every show they had to split their earnings in half. Well, they don't have to do that anymore. I don't even know the country music station in St. Louis right now. It used to be WIL, but I don't know if it still is. There was one classic rock station, 93.7, and it had gone country. I don't know if it still is. I haven't listened to the radio. Maybe it's been 5 years. I don't know if kids listen to the radio. They got Spotify. I do Pandora. It's free. I mean, that's why. Now you know a little bit about that. So, good luck to Florida Georgia line and their songwriting. Moving on. I go here every night, Deerwood Realty, STL.com. Why? Well, we have the mortgage rates. Well, at least the survey. What happened today? It's weird. I tweeted something and it's not there. I tweeted this. Why isn't it on my site? Oh, I bet if I refreshed it, it would be. Okay. 30-year fix is what we're worried about. 6.02%. Down 21 basis points from yesterday. That's good. Like to beat 5.5. The Freddie Mac is updated weekly. They went from 3.10 to 5.66% over the week. The markets, like the stock markets today, were schizophrenic. As I watched them, we were up like 200. We were down. I don't know what it closed at, but it was this weird thing where it's like the job numbers are not as bad as we thought, and so we're happy. And then it's like, yeah, but durable goods were lower, and these job numbers mean people are working more than one job. I don't really understand the market. What do I think about the mortgages? I think that's key. I don't like to be in the sixes. I'd like to be at 5.5% or lower. Let's go to our first article. I'm sorry, I hit the wrong button. It says, the biggest rip-off buyers vent about the cost of extra items in their new construction homes needed. Now, let me just start off with my own experience with new construction. I've helped buyers buy new construction homes. And a couple things stick out to me. One, these new home builders, man, you better be with your client the first time you go out there, because they will say that you were not a contributing factor to them buying the home. Number two is you need, like, if you're going to buy a new home, if you're out in like the path of construction, new construction, so like the path of development, the edge, you should be able to find more than one home builder working in that area. Let's just say a county. You want to see how their work looks. You also have the ability, if they have models they're still working in the community, like, you do have the ability to see if it's something that you'd be interested in. You also have the chance to see what is standard and what is considered an upgrade. Now, I'll just say this. I don't like lot upgrades as far as the cost. $10,000 for a walkout, $20,000 for a level lot, these kinds of things. I don't like that. But, it is a different business than my business, as far as like doing a new construction deal is much different than just buying a used home. It really is. Now, if we get a chance to go to see a number of builders, we'll start to see two things. One, the style of the houses, because they all sort of, like, the builders sort of keep them all kind of similar within their stuff. That will be quite different from each other builder. And the other thing is what is considered standard in one place and what is considered standard in another. So one house you can see for the price, it'll be like $20,000 for a 2-car garage and $10,000 for a 3-car garage. And then the next house, the next development might just be, it's all 3-car garages and there's a flat cost of that. In 2022, you're probably not getting a ceiling wired light in any bedroom, but it's an option that you could get it. There are certain codes that relate to new construction that are different than those that relate to existing construction. New construction, to me, is a little more stringent. And I think the biggest concern I've always had with new construction is playing out right now in front of us. When you get a loan for new construction, okay, that's one rate, and then it turns into the 30-year fixed upon completion of the home where you actually move in. If in that time the rates change dramatically, you are going to be in a bad spot. So if you bought a home and put down money on a lot and the mortgages were 3% and now they're 6.5%, your ability to afford that is not good. So there is an interest rate risk that I see in the field of new construction. Okay. But just doing one thing, just going to each builder and seeing what is the standard build and then what are options, should give you a pretty good idea of what builder to go with. Let's just take two houses and let's just say they're both priced at $100,000. One home has everything that you want in it for that $100,000. The next one, the prices start at $100,000 and they move up by the time you get to, oh, you wanted stairs? That's an additional $20,000. Now you say, well, you silly. If you don't give me stairs, how am I going to get, how's that even going to work? And so see, then there's all these additions that aren't really additions because you'd have to have them anyway to live there. Let's go into the article now. Hopefully I've given you some preface to when you do your new construction search. It says it's an age-old debate in real estate. Is it cheaper to buy new construction or an existing home? That's not a debate. It's not a debate. There are certain times where certain things make more sense. Like I was telling you yesterday, I had a buyer that was very interested in new construction. The price to build the home and move in was less than what we were seeing in the bidding wars that were accompanying existing construction. So it was a no-brainer. Now, is that the case? Probably not. Dollar for dollar, new construction tends to be less expensive if you're simply talking about the cost of a building, of the basic house itself. But what many home buyers miss is that a new house does not automatically come with everything. Many, in fact, were blindsided to find out that they have to pay out of pocket for a bunch of extras, such as appliances, landscaping, window treatments, fences, and more. My reading, it's dark. I thought that said feces and more. You don't want to be paying for someone's feces. That's not good. But let's just go over this, okay? Who really believed that your appliances were going to come with a house? Landscaping is an interesting one. You can opt out of the landscaping, but it has to, the landscaping you do put in the place has to conform to, the neighborhood specs. So that's not good. Window treatments. I don't know what you're talking about on window. Do you think they're going to pay for your blinds? And then, you want a fence? My favorite one is the staircase. You want a staircase? And these upgrades don't come cheap. Let's look into it. Recently, a Reddit user queried new construction buyers in our real estate about the extra costs they incurred to get their home move-in ready. New construction is great, but it's basically a white box. We just bought a new home and we had to pay for the following: sod lawn, yes. Irrigation system, of course. Deck patio, yes. Painting. Painting is a weird one. Normally they'll give you the white, okay, but that's it. You want a color? Oh my God. Laundry room cabinetry. I mean, that's fine. Window shades, light fixtures, upgrade from the building grade. Buying new is so much work and cost on top of the price of the house. Why is it so much work? I mean, sometimes you get the option to pick like what house you want to buy, like what floor plan. That's kind of fun. You get to pick the lot. If you think that's work, okay. And as far as light fixtures upgrade from the builder grade, that's just your choice. It's your choice. It says others weighed in with the extra amenities they shut out for. Landscaping was included with our new build. We spent $4,000 on a fridge, range, dishwasher, over-the-range microwave, chest freezer, and washer dryer. Window treatments were like $800, but we did that ourselves from Menards. Now, this fridge, range, dishwasher, over-the-range microwave, chest freezer, and washer dryer, that's a pretty good deal. $4,000 for all that. Usually they'll run a deal with the fridge, range, dishwasher, and what I would call, and the microwave. Here's another one: refrigerator $2,500, window treatments $1,000, fans $500, fence stain $100, new couch $6,000. I plan on expanding my fence, regrading the backyard, and other patio. These are not needs but wants. I don't plan on selling in a long time, and these projects will improve my happiness. Well, I would say that's not really a complaint on new construction. Just had an email come in, wanted to check it. So, I mean, that one there, I don't see that they're really complaining. It says had to have the house repainted, $3,000 more. Why did you have to have the house repainted? Also end up having new sod and sprinklers installed, $11,000 for that. Vinyl fence for the backyard so the dog can enjoy herself, $4,000. I don't understand. Like, what do people think this stuff is free? Washer and dryer $1,500, blinds $700, landscaping $1,000, DIY. Basement is still unfinished. Total for move-in ready $3,200. It's a bargain. We had to do window treatments. That was a few $1,000s. Now look, these people did blinds for $700. These people did window treatments for a few $1,000, maybe $500 in fans and light fixtures that we felt needed to be replaced. We added a storm door for $1,000, including installation. Overall, we we spent $5,000 bringing it up to livable. I mean, this to me is all about expectations. These people didn't seem to expect that they were going to have to do any of this stuff. Appliances, washer, dryer, water softener, fridge can run anywhere from $5,000 to $10,000 on average. I never knew how expensive it was to do your backyard landscaping because of all the new builds and supply chain issues. Landscaping is ridiculously expensive. That's from Suspicious Broccoli. $43. Suspicious Broccoli, $43. Yeah, I mean, okay. It says in reading these responses, we noted a trend. Many of these home buyers were shocked by the cost of window treatments. Window treatments are the biggest ripoff. Margins must be crazy. Blinds were shockingly expensive, so I just went with the IKEA blinds, which look sleeker and modern. Some were quoting me a ridiculous $300 to $400 per window, if not more. I went to IKEA and got a bunch of their treater line, which were like $50 to $70. My house came with appliances, but window treatments have staggered me for both of my new construction homes. I feel that's a need for move-in ready. I don't understand. Like you bought one home and like you didn't think it was going to happen on the second home. I don't want to say that people are stupid, but this I'm not getting where I need to be. Why is that in there? I don't even know. I was going to do something, I think, for Twitter, and I didn't get around to it. Okay, it says what comes standard in a new construction home and what costs extra. Each builder is different and will offer different amenities. We talked about this. But there are some common fittings and fixtures that home buyers can count on coming with their new house. Okay, well, what are those? As a baseline, you can typically expect carpet and vinyl flooring, one color paint throughout with a flat finish. I told you that. A few options for builder-grade lighting and plumbing fixtures. A few options for bathroom and kitchen cabinetry. That's true, and one of the more weird ones is the height of the cabinets in the bathroom, the vanity. A few options for countertops and backsplashes. A predetermined number of electrical outlets. A standard appliance package that may or may not include a refrigerator and usually does not include a washer and dryer. And on the exterior, you can generally expect an uncovered concrete slab, patio, or deck. Okay. This also, to me, honestly, is regional. So, like, what you could expect in California is going to be different than what you can expect here in St. Louis. It says safety and building codes are also taken into consideration by new construction builders. One bonus for brand new homes is that they will still include anything mandated by most current municipal code. That's true. We talked about that. Now, look, I didn't even read the article ahead of time. I'm just telling you my knowledge dealing with new construction in St. Louis. For example, new homes will have up-to-date hurricane protection. In California, new construction homes will come with fire sprinklers. From there, new construction buyers are often given upgrade options. The most popular upgrades new home buyers will go for are modernized light fixtures, elegant flooring, stone countertops, and electrical additions such as recessed lighting or more outlets. Homeowners who usually look for an exterior facelift by upgrading their new home's facade, patio space, and landscaping, believe it or not, many new homes will not include the land as well. You have to pay a lot premium for waterfront preserve or other more desirable locations. I believe that. I know it for a fact. It's not weird at all. I don't like it, but one thing I wanted to point out just in talking about this is, look, you can get, like, here's what happens that's kind of a bad deal, I think. Like, I just sold a relatively new house in a development where they're still building homes, and you can see it from right now. There were people, like, let's just say the cheapest home you could buy there was $300,000. Well, the people bought $300,000 homes, and then the person next door bought like $100,000 more in upgrades. So you've got a house that's a beautiful house. And then you've got this ugly box next to it with like just vinyl siding on the outside and the cheapest of the cheap flooring on the inside, cheapest of the cheap kitchen cabinets and etc. When you go to sell, you're gonna not get what somebody else would get. This is not a threat. This is just like, it's kind of a fact. And let me go over the arguments. There's two. One argument is when you're going to buy a new home, get it exactly the way you want to, and have that in the mortgage. Okay? Because in theory, you're paying less of a percentage for the things in your house, and you should never have to buy anything new, at least for the first 18 years. Now, contrast that with what people do in these subdivisions, that they buy the cheapest house and they say to themselves, we'll fix this stuff over time. This is the best we can do now. Well, you know what? It never happens. They move before they fix the home. So, that's something to worry about. Also, that interest rate risk is real from the time you buy the house to the time when it's actually finished. It could be 6 months or more. We don't know what rates are going to do tomorrow. How are we going to know what we're going to do next year, 6 months from now? Kind of tough. Okay, let me keep going. It says, how much should new construction homebuyers budget for upgrades and extras? Builder upgrades and extras can add up quickly, so it's important to have a budget before you start choosing amenities for your home. In order to set your budget, you need to talk to your lender first to find out how much you can afford to add to your mortgage if you don't plan on paying cash for the upgrades. Well, that seems obvious. Second, you'll need to talk to your real estate agent and find out what other items have sold for the neighborhood to make sure you don't over-improve the home. You want the home to appraise if you plan on rolling the cost of upgrades into your mortgage. That's really not had that problem on new construction. Stepling advises buyers to budget around 10% of their home's purchase price for upgrades. If you have more refined taste, you may want to budget as high as 25% for your upgrades, especially if a lot premiums need. Now, look, me personally, I don't take the lot premium into consideration as an upgrade, because when you go to the office, the builder's office, they tell you, like, this lot here is a premium lot. This out here is a premium lot. There's no budgeting for that, in the sense that you don't know which lots are going to be premium lots, nor is there any sort of consistency between builders of what a premium lot's going to cost. So I think that's part of the base house. This is my opinion. It says how to reduce the cost of builder upgrades and extras. Well, that's seems helpful. It says the first strategy for saving some dough during your home purchase is ask about any incentives the builders are offering. Often builders will offer incentives for spec homes, or if they're trying to meet a sales quota for the month. Another thing you can do is work with your real estate agents to negotiate some extras. That's really what your real estate agent's for. Now, what's funny is most home builders won't pay for anything more than the base price. So, like, say we get a free cabinet upgrade. Okay, that still isn't going to help. It doesn't help your agent. They get paid based on the base. It says sometimes builders will be willing to include such terms such as window covering. It never hurts to try to negotiate. It doesn't. And if you have a builder that's like, I'm not negotiating squat, that's probably not the right builder for you. Sometimes builders will be willing to include terms such as, you could also plan on making upgrades in the future. See, this is what I don't like. If you're going to go new construction, don't open yourself up to risk of having to spend money out of pocket versus your mortgage. So some items such as electrical additions will be easier to take up during construction. Others, new light fixtures, even updated countertops, should be cheaper aftermarket. You buy a new home. You've been waiting for 6 months. Do you really want to have your home the first month you move in kind of destroyed with kitchen countertop replacements? It doesn't make any sense. More offers this pro tip. Do a reverse Google image search to find less expensive dupes of fixtures you love. That's a weird thing. And in St. Louis, I will answer this one this way. In St. Louis, there's this company, and they do the lighting, and they have all the lighting you could possibly ever buy. Problem is it's like the most expensive lighting you'll ever buy. And you can find the cheap, most stylish knockoffs at a Lowe's, at a Menards, at a Home Depot. So I agree with that. But they might not install, they might choose not to install the fixtures that you bought. It's kind of weird. But whatever. I get it. They don't want to warranty things that aren't, what they're used to. So also, the reason why that one company does so well with light fixtures, because they have all of them, they also install all of them too. So that's like, for builders, it's like, sweet. We don't have to deal with that. I don't know. If you're going to do new construction, you need to choose new construction. Like we were like maybe 3 weeks ago, I was at a listing, and there were some other buyers there, and they said, if we don't put an offer in on any home this weekend, we're going to go new construction. That's kind of, to me, it's like, look, you should have you should have made that decision before you wasted your time looking at existing homes. But I always tell people, like, look, don't do this silliness. Like, do you want a condo or do you want a house? Okay. Like, choose. So we can eliminate one. There's no such thing as, I'd just as soon live in a condo as I'd live in a house. Then you look at like location, like where would you live? Okay. And as far as where you would live, once you found that, then it's kind of like, are we going to do new construction or existing construction? If you're going to do existing construction, stick with that. If you're going to do new construction, stick with that, but don't combine it. There's no point. No point. That's my advice. I'm moving on. Man, I got a lot of stuff up here that I don't even know why it's in here. I thought this was an interesting article. Will we run this to the end? I think we will run this to the end. This will be the last article for tonight. I'm kind of running out of steam. Had a great dinner. Cevapi is a type of sausage from the Balkans. Oh, it's good. 8 cities where at least half of millennials can't afford to rent a 1-bedroom. Now, we have talked about this, where what we've seen is people like cohabitating longer. So like, I have a friend that just bought a home. I have a former client. He's immediately renting 2 of the rooms that he moves, when he moves into his home. Can't afford the damn mortgage payment, really, by himself. And we've talked about how rents are rising and they're so expensive, it's hard to save money for a down payment for a home. So, things are not good. Now, if you're a millennial, like, I don't like labeling people millennials. Okay. I think it's stupid. If you're a younger person, just realize it could be really hard for you to get a house right now. It's hard for you to even get a rental. Let's see. The West Coast may not be the ideal place for millennial renters. Now, we're in St. Louis. I have a stepdaughter that's in college right now, freshman. All of her life, she believed that California was the place to go. Couldn't wait to leave to go to California. I believe this happens a lot in the Midwest. She had the benefit of being able to go with her best friend her senior year out to California and to see what's happened to what was a beautiful state. She came back and said, never again. I can't believe I was so duped by the entertainment industry that led me to believe that California was a panacea of beauty, good jobs, great living situations. All she saw was homeless people and dirt and, traffic snarls and expensive gas. And now look, that's just what she saw. I'm not a California person myself. It says California's Los Angeles, Long Beach, Anaheim metro area has the largest gap between the median wage earned by millennials and the median annual income needed to rent a 1-bedroom apartment, according to a new analysis by FilterBuy. Don't know who that is. For this analysis, millennials are defined as renters between the age of 24 and 39. I am 45 years old, therefore I am not a millennial. In that metro, millennial rentals can earn a median of $36,649, according to census data provided by Filterberry. However, the median annual wage needed to afford a one-bedroom rental without spending more than 30% of its earnings is $72,560. Since the median falls in the middle, pop up. That means about half of millennial renters earn more than that amount, while half earn less. Same goes for apartments. About one half of one-bedroom apartments are cheaper than the median and half are more expensive. The West Coast dominates the list of places where the gap between how much millennial renters earn and the wages needed to afford a one-bedroom rental is the widest. 5 out of the top 8 spots are in California alone. Here are the 8 cities where the largest millennial renter wage gaps rank from the largest rent-to-income ratio to the smallest. Okay, so the annual income needed to rent a one-bedroom in Anaheim is $72,000. The annual income of millennial renters is $36,000. Well, that's no good. That's no good at all. Look, make fun of me all you want to. I'm going to use my calculator, which I don't think you can see. I'm going to check. No, you can't see it, but I'm going to use it. And I'm going to go 72. I'm going to go over to this page here. 72,560 divided by 12. You got to earn 87,000. Maybe we did that number before. Miami, Fort Lauderdale, West Palm Beach, Florida, 52,000. Average annual income is 31,000. San Diego, 69,000. Now I don't understand why they didn't do it in order. 41,000. Orlando, 49,000. $30,000 for annual income. That's not bad. Doesn't seem that bad. San Francisco, $100,000 to rent a one-bedroom, and your median annual income of millennial rentals is $62,000. Now that's like a tech hub, along with San Jose, which is also ridiculous. $106,000. Average income of millennial renters $68,000. New York, Newark, and Jersey City, $71,000. But you're earning $45,000. And then Riverside, San Bernardino, Ontario, California, $47,960 to $31,414. Unfortunately, the overall gap seems to be widening as the rate of rental price growth outpaces wage growth. Yes. And not only outpaces wage growth, but there's also inflation. Median U.S. rent has grown by 25 cents since 2014, while the median hourly employee earnings in the United States has increased by only 6% over the same span. But despite soaring rent prices, homeownership this doesn't make any sense. But despite soaring rent prices, homeownership seems to be out of reach for many millennials. Well, like if you can't afford a rental, you're never going to be able to afford a house. And there are 25% of millennials believe they'll be forever renters, according to preliminary data outlining the Apartment List's 2020 Millennial Homeownership Report. I don't think that's true. I don't think you should, honestly, I don't think you should think that way. Unless you want to be that person. Like let's say you're worried that you're going to be the cat lady when you grow up. I had a girl in college that I knew that she was worried she was going to end up being the cat lady. You know, it's okay to worry about that, but you've got your whole life ahead of you. We don't know that rents and housing prices are going to continue to skyrocket. We don't know that people are going to always have jobs. What I'm saying is don't be too negative on yourself. Don't be too hard on yourself if things aren't going right now. Affordability plays a major role in that. About 77% of millennials who expect to rent long-term stays because they can't afford to buy a home. Well, what would be the other percentage? If you can't afford it, wouldn't that be 100% of why you don't have a home? Median home prices hit a record high of $413,800 in June. For comparison, the median home price was $363,000 in 2021 and $294,000 in 2020. Yeah, it really, really went up. $363,000 to $413,000. Rising student loan debt is also a factor. Nearly 50% of those between 21 and 31 say that student loan debt hinders their ability to save money to buy a home. But again, it's all about home affordability. And if you can't afford it because you can't save any money because rents are so high. It says, however, younger generations are beginning to consider homeownership less important to their overall financial success compared to older generations. Only about 34% of millennials place a high importance on homeownership, compared to 45% of baby boomers, according to the department. Notice how Generation X, we got nothing. No one even polls us. I don't know. Like let me just put it into my terms, because that's, by the way, I'm done for the night as far as there. I think that it's very kind of age dependent on when you feel like you need to own a home. As an example, let me just say that, like, I didn't really want a home at age 21, 25, maybe around 30. I started thinking, hey, maybe I need to get a house. When I scratch my eye here, itchy. When I work with young home buyers, single folks, I have a lot of respect for them because they're taking on a challenge of owning a home on their own. And they know that maybe they might get married, they may have children, and they may have to move, but yet they're still trying to build equity in their home. And I think that's admirable. I really do. I really do. I think they're smart for that. If nothing else happens in their lives, that, you know, they never ever have kids, they never ever have a family, they never ever get married, they're still building equity. And by the time they're in their 50s, even not that late, they should have their house almost paid off. I mean, it's a pretty good financial deal for them, my opinion. But what do you think? Put a comment in the comment section below. Let me know what you thought about the show tonight. I feel like I did a pretty good job. I feel like it was a pretty good show for Friday night, Labor Day weekend, to kind of bring you what I'm seeing in the marketplace in a weird time because of the holiday. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. And I will catch you on the next one. Peace.